Now, apparently the Pistons are saying Cade and Ausar are the only untouchables on the roster. Why is Ausar untouchable? Most people gonna be like, well, he's the best defender in the NBA. Yeah, he's also one of the worst offensive players in the NBA too. And that's the problem with the Detroit Pistons, because they have a V12 engine in Cade Cunningham, right? If you watch the playoffs, you saw Cade Cunningham try his hardest. He did everything he could to put the Pistons in the best situation to try to advance to the next round. They need offense. And when I'm talking about offense, I'm not saying that you got to trade Ausar Thompson for a guy that plays offense and maybe no defense. I'm also not saying you're supposed to trade Ausar Thompson for a bacon, egg, and cheese. But what I am saying is, if I'm the Pistons GM, I'm keeping everything on the table. The only untouchable I genuinely got is Cade Cunningham. So we need this roster to complement Cade Cunningham. So if there's anything that's out there that's a lethal scorer, and I'm not talking about in the regular season, I'm talking about in the playoffs too. I would love to see Tyler Hero over there with Cade Cunningham. I would love to see maybe a Michael Porter Jr. over there with Cade Cunningham. And alongside of that, I also got to pair one of those two stars with the guy like Trey Murphy. I would love to see that. If I'm Detroit and I'm getting closer and closer and I'm having this success, what I'm trying to do is maximize that. So I got to go get a Trey Murphy too. I'm going for broke with this whole project right here. I'm building the best team around Cade Cunningham that has to do with scoring and that has to do with defenders as well too. All options are on the table except for Cade Cunningham. But let me know what y'all think about this in the comments.
All right, man. So you got this brother who's saying that, Cade Cunningham is he's the only untouchable, and Ausar Thompson isn't because he can't score. My thing was, how valuable was Dennis Rodman to the Detroit Pistons? How valuable was he to the Chicago Bulls? He wasn't no scorer. They got it in his mind that you have to be able to be this offensive great player to be great. No, you have to be proficient, and I agree. The offensive game has to improve. But if you got somebody that special where whoever he guarding, we just gonna send him in the corner so he gotta find a way to develop him offensively. You have to. You don't find that, and they don't put any emphasis on defense in the NBA. And a lot of these dudes with microphones deserve to have headphones. That's a fact. Because, the NBA has brainwashed people to believe defense doesn't matter. They've artificially inflated the numbers with free throws, three-pointers. And I say this all the time. Check out Detroit Pistons Talk playlist. The most prolific play, the most exciting play in basketball is a slam dunk. It's really not even a thing no more. You don't even have young hoopers dunking like they used to dunk no more. Even in game, they don't dunk like they used to dunk. And they really have got rid of the defense in basketball. And people think, they scoring a lot of points because you can't play defense. This is the equivalent of a watered down open run where it's an agreement where we're not going to double team or you're not going to guard in this run. And that's just the God honest truth. That's the God honest truth. These guys they want to kill defense. And the NFL did the same thing. That's why they put all these defensive receivers, 5-yard chuck rule. They do all this stuff. They don't want defense to be played. They think the fans just want to see jump shots. And no, fans want to see competitive basketball. And when you have an elite player like Ausar Thompson, he's still young. You have to develop him offensively. You have to believe in your skills and your ability to develop. Ruben Patterson, he was okay offensively. Bruce Bowen worked on his jump shot. Rajah Bell, Tony Allen became satisfactory. I mean, Tony Parker couldn't shoot neither. And he taught himself how to shoot. So it's just, a lot of these people believe that who you come in as the league is just who you going to hit. Jason Kidd, they called him Ason Kidd. He couldn't shoot. But he ended up making some of them, at one point, he was, one of the top players at three-point field goals made. You have to trust the work ethic, the character, and the guy that you drafted that he will develop. Some take longer than others. But he has to get in the lab and he has to be able to get an offensive game. And I think the troubling part is he's been with Fred Vincent and it hasn't developed. His jump shot hasn't developed. The confidence isn't there. Him to be able to shoot a floater, his ability to attack the rim is down. So offensively, he's. I get what the dude's saying in the video. Offensively, he's compromised, but you have to be able to get him that confident shooting rise, because that's an elite level defender. That's a generational defender. You know, it really is. It's a generational defender. You don't give up on that. And what is he, 22, 23 years old, 24? Like, nah. It's not a furnish. Well, you don't keep him. Nah, he's untouchable with that. And you can build around. Now, it'd be a little bit harder with Jalen Duren not knowing how to shoot both of them in the lineup. That means you got to have premier shooting around both of those guys, which it can work, because Jalen Duren, he will attack the basket. He will, you know, he's constantly improving. You got to bank on your player development. OKC did it. They developed, believe it or not, Boston did it. You know, Derek White wasn't, I don't remember him being that nigga before he got there. You know what I'm saying? Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown, they developed. Not saying they wasn't going to be great regardless, but you have to create an environment where it's conducive for them to develop. And I think the Pistons done a great job. I think Duren has made a good jump. Jenkins has made a good jump. Stu has made jumps in his career. Cade has made jumps. And look at what they done with Duncan Robinson defensive. Duncan Robinson ain't never defended like he defended this year. So you got to trust you got to trust your people to develop these guys, especially when they part of your DNA. And everybody like, just throw everybody away and build around them. And well, if you do that and it still don't work, and these guys go other places and develop. Think about the Clippers. You think they not regretting that SGA trade? Instant success ain't guaranteed. You know, they got that meme of the guy digging for gold. He quit when he was 2 or 3 more cracks away at gold, and he quit. Can't give up on these young guys. And the difference is, if your job is on the line, you 2-3 years ahead of schedule. So it's no point to quit. Now, add some guys, add a couple guys around. Absolutely, you don't want to waste K's prime or put too much on his plate. Yes, they need to add guys, but you got to be very careful who you extract from this thing. You know what I'm saying? Because when you got a defender like Ausar Thompson, hey man, if I'm Trajan Langdon myself, I'll come down and teach that motherfucker how to shoot. Fine, I do it myself. Was that Thanos that said that? But yeah, they not in the rush now mode, bro. I think there's urgency now. There's urgency. You hope that Beasley come back and get cleared. Who knows? You hope to, add another prolific scorer next to Cade. You hope to upgrade the 4 position that Tobias hit. Those are the things to do. More shooting, couple scores. That's what you hope. But there's a culture already here for defense. If you ain't gonna be here, you're gonna defend, motherfucker. You're gonna defend. But hey, it is what it is. Check out Detroit Pistons Talk playlist. Thumbs up the video, share the video, subscribe to the channel. Find me on X, Facebook, Kick, Twitch, Instagram, Spotify, Anchor, Cash App, Venmo, PayPal. Appreciate the love, support. Check out Detroit Pistons Talk playlist for more videos like this. Let me know what you girls and guys think in the comment section. Peace.